So when I did my poll talking about uh, the what if scenario to win, and the winner was what if Mordor and Isengard existed in Warhammer: The Old World, there was another topic on there that I was like, you know what? I kind of want to talk about this. I want this to be like its own video, and I couldn't get it out of my head. Like I quite literally just could not, for the life of me, get this thought process out of my head. And there's another one out of them. There was two I really wanted to do alongside. I'm glad the Mordor Isengard one won, but there were two others on that poll that I might do. Well, I might do the third one, but this one I'm definitely doing. I was like, I can't get it out of my head. I got to talk about it. And as you can see from the title, what if the JP3 Spino existed in Amphibia? Now I know what you're thinking. Really? We're doing putting a Jurassic Park dinosaur in Amphibia? What would that be like? Well, we're going to talk about it. So, JP3 Spino. What does that ensue? Well, you got to remember that the JP3 Spino the JP3 Spinosaurus is not your typical Spinosaurus. It doesn't look like that. I know that's been kind of the popular design, but all of that. But in reality, the Spinosaurus we're getting in Rebirth is more closer to what it actually looked like, give or take. But the JP3 Spino is different because it turns out that was an early hybrid created by Dr. Wu. One that really, really doesn't like people. It goes into a psychotic rage every time it sees people. Apparently, the creature was tortured a lot during its time on Sorna, and especially by Wu. That led to it becoming incredibly psychotic towards towards humans, and also it goes on occasional killing sprees in Sorna. Now, the other thing you have to understand is that on Sorna, it wasn't there for long. Apparently, it was created after the Masrani buyout. That basically, there was like little blurbs that basically say that, oh yeah, the Masrani Corporation went to Sorna in secret. Wu especially went in secret to create several dinosaurs on Sorna. That's why we got so many, dinosaurs we hadn't seen on Sorna in JP3. But I'm just setting up the stage. So the Spinosaurus. It's much larger than the T-Rex, it's smarter than the T-Rex, and it's incredibly strong, incredibly agile, and got some serious stamina, and probably some good senses too if it's smelling humans almost hundreds of miles away from it, and just gunning after it. This thing also has a high prey drive, and it's a great swimmer. Now the thing is that Spinosaurus, it may have been found in Africa. The thing of it is, though, Amphibia itself is very much like what North Africa looked like during the Cretaceous era. These very dense, very humid, very swampy areas that your real-life Spinosaurus would have been living in. It would have been, going through riverways, feeding on large fish, maybe even there's still a persisting theory that maybe Spinosaurus did prey on dinosaurs, even though it was more of a fish eater, but maybe it was just a opportunist when it came to maybe a small enough dinosaur, like an infant dinosaur, snatch it up. But we did have Carcharodontosaurus at the same time. That's kind of led to niche partitioning. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But this applies to to Sorna's Spino, because again, he basically lived in a lot of dark, swampy, kind of tropical areas. So he would be right at home. If you just dumped him into Amphibia, you would dump him in basically a home, a perfect home for him. Somewhere where he could run and hide, somewhere he could hide in the dense forests. There's a lot of, according to the lore of Amphibia, there is apparently a shit ton of unexplored land on the continent. There's a lot of unexplored places, and a lot of places where a lot of unknown creatures exist. So the Spinosaurus could easily just hide in the dense forests for decades and probably not even be found. Here's the thing, I don't think he's going to mind being found, but we'll get to that in a bit. But the Spinosaurus is definitely going to be it's going to be a big enough, even though it is a large carnivore, he's going to be able to, hide. Especially diving underwater. Yeah, he could easily just dive into a large riverway and be like almost like a sea monster to some people, even be seen as like a legend in some cases. I could absolutely see that being the case where he is, essentially hiding out in some dense tropical like riverway, killing anyone who goes out fishing. Now, to keep in mind, Amphibia isn't just full of frog and amphibian people. It's full of a lot of dangerous predators. You have to understand that, like, if you could imagine anything that lives in a swamp, it's gonna be living there and probably trying to eat people. I'm talking giant frilled lizards, giant bugs and spiders, large snakes, all of that. Some of whom are as big as the Spinosaurus. So the Spinosaurus has obviously it was a T-Rex killer. It was even said in the JP lore that the Spinosaurus had killed several of the T-Rex on Sorna. Now remember, there were only 7, and we don't know how many Rexes he killed. Obviously, Buck and Doe, the T-Rex from Sorna, did show up in Dominion, so they were safe. Now, as for Junior, that's a different story. We don't know about him. But, yeah. So, this thing was obviously capable of killing large amounts of prey. It was known to, like, go after the ankylosaurs, the sauropods, all of those. And it had the not only the body for it, like, just pure power, but also the intellect to do so. So it could, like, even though, yes, it is more of a carnivore, like, Amphibia itself is more of a carnivore-heavy continent. It's, from what we understand, is that it looks like there are more predator species than there are prey species. And the Spinosaurus is just going to add to that on another level. Now, will it be probably competing with these predators? Absolutely. It'll more than likely have to fight more, but keep in mind, he came from Sorna. He's already competing with T-Rexes, Allosaurs, Raptors, all of that. And all Spinosaurus seemed to do after being let out in an adolescent age was fight and kill. So this is really nothing new to the Spinosaurus. There's really nothing there that the Spinosaurus hadn't encountered before. He's now just dealing with giant snakes, spiders, bugs, maybe even some brain-eating fungus, stuff like that. But yeah, he could definitely hold his own against several predators. Now, there is one predator that definitely he's going to have to run from, because everyone runs from it, the herons. The herons in Amphibia are kaiju-sized. Like, they are like roughly the size of Kong when he was in during the Kong Skull Island movie, like that timeline. It's like 100 to 105 feet tall, way bigger than the Spino. So when the Spinosaurus is just going to be like, oh shit, gotta go. So the moment he sees like just 100-foot tall herons just flying down, he's just going to be like, gotta go. Everything else, like a good amount of the other predators in Amphibia, are fair game. I think he would be a predator of predators, almost a killer of killers, if you will. Now let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. What would the sentient species of Amphibia, like the civilizations, and what would they be affected by the Spinosaurus? How would they be affected? Now, the frogs are probably going to be like the easiest prey. Like the Spinosaurus, I know I said like he has this serious mat on for humans, but I think he wouldn't discern them being humans. But I think he would discern the frogs as prey, because it's going to be like an ancient prey drive for him. They look like something he would eat back in like a variant, like a version of the Spinosaurus back in the Cretaceous period. They probably would prey on in their younger years, probably preyed on large amphibians. So this is they're just bigger amphibians that he can now consume as an adult. So frogs, they're on the menu. Like I don't know if like the Spinosaurus would go on like a full-on raid in a village, like attack, attack the planter's home or something like that. But I definitely do see that he would probably like attack like boats, shipping vessels, things like that. The frogs would be like fair game to him. Like if you have like wandering like campers or whatever, then yeah, he's probably going to go after them, or like hikers or something. The toads would be interesting. I think the toads would view him as view the Spinosaurus as like a dragon, like is something you have to go out and fight. Like it's something you have to go out and slay, and they wouldn't even know what that. Even the frogs would be like, "Fuck, I don't know what that is," but it don't look like anything I've seen. They would probably call it like the Great River Devil or something like that. And the Spinus, like if the Spinosaurus, also as we saw in the move in JP3, we also saw that the Spinosaurus, if you even like nick him, like how the helicopter nicked his sail, he's gonna hold a grudge. So I imagine he would probably even hate the toads, like just kill toads and even like wreck bases just because they're there. He's be like, "Fuck you, you scratched me. I'm gonna make it the rest of my life making your life hell." That's how I see it. The salamanders, the newts, I don't think they would bother with him. Although I do see, what's her name? The female generals see like a worthy opponent for her. But yeah. So on a whole, I do think aside from a few things here and there, the Spinosaurus would be right at home. Probably even like an apex predator, give or take herons aside. Anyway, but you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you think it would be like if the JP3 Spino, the Jurassic Park 3 Spino, existed in Amphibia? And real quick, I also forgot to mention the humans. Let's just say, like, I do think if he found, like, Marcy, Anne, or Sasha, yeah, he already has a thing against humans. He's going to go gunning for them until they get their god powers. Then they're not much of a threat. But anyway, yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you think it would be like? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.